G'day, guys and gal. Live from the Black Library, I'm Isando, and this is Coda, and I'm here to bring you a Warhammer video.
Defeated a horde of rampaging somethings in the something system.
The Killbots? A trifle. It was simply a matter of outsmarting them.
Wow, I never would have thought of that.
You see, Killbots have a preset kill limit. Knowing their weakness, I sent wave after wave of my own men at them until they reached their limit and shut down. Kif, show them the medal I won.
Starting out with the Imperial Guard. The Imperial Guard has one strategy. One towards enemy gun lines until they run out of bullets. These guys will deploy millions of soldiers to single battlefields, sometimes up against eldritch abominations that will whip millions of them apart. And if they don't win through sheer weight of numbers, swarming their opponents like ants, they will win through gumming up the enemy's tank tracks. They will win because their artillery bodied the enemy. They will win no matter what through sheer weight of numbers. That meme I showed a minute ago isn't even inaccurate. That is how they fight sometimes. Next up, Ultramarines. A bunch of blueberry smurfs who worship a space book. Next up.
And worst of all, he could be any one of us. He could be in this very room. He could be you. He could be me. He could even be... Whoa! What? It was obvious.
Alpha Legion. Just imagine an entire Space Marine Legion of James Bond. Except, like, really cartoonish bad James Bond. The lore is really complicated, so please sit down and listen up, and please listen up. During the Horus Heresy, Alpharius actually betrayed Alpharius so he could aid Alpharius into killing Alpharius. Alpharius could then overthrow Alpharius. Alpharius could then Alpharius, and Alpharius. Next up, the Orcs. The Orcs are 6'4", 500-pound muscle monsters bred only for war. They are a fungus race that's kind of like, a fungus living organism thing. I guess you can say they're a fungi. I'm sorry. All of their technology is just a bunch of garbage they strap together that somehow works, that only works because they have a psychic field around them that makes it work. Like, an orc could pick up a gun and it's going to be super powerful, but then a human will pick it up and it just won't work because anything the orcs believe becomes real. And that's part of the reason why the God Emperor Mankind is still alive, because they see him as a human war god. And so because they think he's so cool, that makes him more powerful. Next up, Eldoi, essentially just space elves. They see humans as Monkai, commonly referring as basically monkey. Quite possibly the second most arrogant race in the galaxy. They have these giant space RVs that they use as planets called craft worlds, and they're essentially super arrogant, and oh yeah, they also both Slaanesh the Chaos God. Next up, Dark Eldoi. So, the normal Eldoi are like super pretentious on how pure they are. The Dark Eldoi are the exact opposite. They're the kind of guys who would bring a jackhammer into the bedroom on the first date. In a weird way, they kind of worship Slaanesh because Slaanesh is constantly eating their souls, but she'll stop eating their souls if they cause pain and suffering, so they're constantly doing messed up stuff to people. They turned a man into soup and then drank him and then cloned him to bring him back alive to do it again, and they keep doing it. Anyway, if these elves sound kind of bad, then you need an elf exterminator. That would be the Primarch of the Salamanders, Vulcan. Think of the biggest, blackest, kindest man you can think of, who's the physically strongest Primarch and the kindest, to humans at least. He set an Eldoi child on fire using a flamethrower and then stomped it out, just for the memes. Hey, I said he's kind to humans, not those fucking knife eels. You might be wondering, where'd all the Primarchs go? There used to be 20, redacted. There used to be 18, technically 19, Primarchs. Until this one asshole who had daddy issues called Horus, who was appointed War Master, then led a rebellion and led 8 of the other Primarchs against the Emperor, meaning there were 9 loyalists and 9 traitor Primarchs. After Horus let the intrusive thoughts win and became a puppet of the Chaos Gods, he then used his new power to injure the Emperor before being killed, and his soul was also killed, and that's why the Emperor was a giant fucking coy battery. Because the Golden Throne is a life support system, but it's also whipping him apart so he can't regenerate. And if they take him off of it, the entire Imperium dissolves. That's an old story. You want an older story? Boomer robots. There's these wasted asshole. You know how I said the Eldar were the second most arrogant race? These guys take the cake. These asshole robots called Necrons aren't actually robots. They used to be a sentient race, but they had their souls eaten by these assholes called the Catan. Essentially, the Necrons were an entire race that had cancer, and so they approached this eldritch alien race of like these frog people that were super psychic, and they asked them for immortality, and when they told them to get fucked, they declared war on them. Now, when the entire Cancer World declares war on a race of psychic fat frog people, yeah, the frogs won. So they got tricked into selling their souls to these assholes called the Catan, who then ate their souls and then turned them into robots, and then eventually the robots rebelled against the Catan, and then after that, the Silent King, the leader of the Necrons, was like, damn, we're about to get our asses kicked by the Eldar and the Quarks, so let's all take a 60 million year power nap, and when we wake up, hopefully they all fell from grace, and we can reclaim the galaxy. They're also quite possibly one of the most racist factions in the galaxy, and if they weren't so petty and constantly fighting with each other, they could straight up dog the other races, because their technology is unironically that better. Like, they have this thing called the Celestial Orrery, which is essentially a button, and you click any star, and it just supernovas. There's also this asshole robot called Trace in the Infinite who goes around kidnapping people and stealing stuff and putting it in his planet-sized museum. Big space bugs. The Tyranids are the only race that came outside of the galaxy, and they essentially go around the galaxy munching on stuff. They're also a hive mind. The Adeptus Mechanicus are essentially the tech guys of the Imperium. They make all the technology, and they essentially are the only ones who know how to make stuff. And even they don't know how most of the stuff works. They essentially have no idea how anything really works besides, like, really basic stuff. They just know how to make more of it and to keep what's working. Like, you know those giant titans? Yeah, they have no idea how to turn those on. They have this, like, hour-long ritual, which involves, like, sacred oils, prayers, all this stuff, and it just happens to also include hitting the on button in, like, an hour ritual. The only thing they need to turn on is to hit the on button, but they don't know what's the on button. Oh yeah, they also want to fuck toasters. I'm a computer. Oh wait, the four gods of chaos. Slanesh, the god of horny. Korn, the god of blood. Norgol, the god of League of Legends players. Tzeentch, the god of complicated plans and magic. Custodians, the most overpowered kind of Imperial soldier. There's only 10,000 of them, and just a couple of them would be enough to kill a Primarch. These guys are super OP, and all they've done for the last 10,000 years is sit around the Imperial Palace, and some of them are, been up to some weird stuff. Despite having all the OP equipment, they don't really do much. Tyranid Gene Stealers. Tyranids thought it'd be easier to infect planets and kind of spread like a cancer, as opposed to, you know, directly running towards gun lines, because all Tyranids want is more biomass, so Gene Stealers were more efficient than, you know, killing them normally. Gene Stealers are essentially the worst STD you can get. Just imagine you have sex with someone, and then you get, like, this weird bug implanted in you that makes you worship the hive mind. Ended off on a high note. The Tau are fish communists. They're talking about this commie gobbledygook called the Greater Good. They also have vaginas on their forehead. They're a bunch of commie cow fish people. If you like this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do everything you're supposed to do, and may everyone have a happy April 1st.